Let's talk about logic gates. Okay, this is basically a flow of logical information with trues and falses and ands and ors and nots, and this is a great way to build to other things where we really process logical thinking and inputs and outputs. Here goes. I'm going to be writing on these, sometimes in pencil because I'll be erasing. Here goes. Suppose A is true, B is false. Let's just write that. Coming out of A, we have a true. Coming out of B, we have a false. Whoa. And then I write the wrong thing from the very beginning. No. Coming out of B, we have a false. So false right there. So if I have true or false, okay, in order for a true or statement to be true, I have to have a true. I have a true, so there we go. You have to look, when you have ands and ors, you have to look and see what's going into them. So coming out of the or, I have a true, but it hits a not, so it's false. So my final answer is false. There it is. What's the output? It's false. And it's basically that. So let's keep going, but let's go a little faster. A is true, B is true. If I have two trues that hit an or, then it's definitely true. When my true hits a not, it is false. It's that easy, I promise. This is great. Now, they do get a little trickier. Well, let me take that back. They get bigger, but not trickier. A is true, B is false. When my true hits this not, it turns into a false. Okay, we have, my or statement has two inputs, false or false. If I have false or false, it's false, like nothing is true, so it's definitely false. All right, last one up here. A is false, B is true. This runs into the not. Actually, let's stop. Let's stop right there. Let's stop. Here's what I already noticed. You could leave this part blank, and you already know the answer, and here's why. My and statement, in order for it to be true, has to have two truths going into it. I'm not going to have that. This is automatically false, regardless of what this is. And that's leading us to where we're going next, where we start predicting things when we have missing information. So here we are, a little more than 2 minutes into the lesson, and we're already getting to the big ideas. Let's do it. Suppose B is true. How does the value of A affect the output of each of these logic gates? So let's just logically, think through this. B is true. Let's do this one first. I don't know what A is, and I could say, oh, let's pretend like A is true, or let's pretend like A is false. I'm not, actually. I'm gonna just cover this up because I don't know anything about it, and you could kind of test it, but I'm not. If I have a true going into an or statement, then the output is going to be true. All I need is at least one true statement to make this true, so the final answer is true. So it doesn't matter what A is. So let's actually write that. How does the value of A affect the output of each of these? The output will be true, pardon my bad handwriting, regardless of A. A could be true, A could be false. It doesn't matter because it hit this or, and I needed one truth. Okay, let's come over here. Let's do this one. Let's suppose B is true. So we have a true. If I have a true that hits a not, it turns into a false. Now, again, I know nothing about A, so I'm going to just pretend like I know nothing about A. And I have a false that hit my and statement. When I have an and statement, I need two trues. So I don't know what A is, but I do know that I'm not going to have two trues because I have a false right here. So and is definitely false. So here we go. The output will, I was about to say the output of, but the output will, my handwriting's getting worse, be false regardless of A. Doesn't matter what A is. When I hit this and with a false, it's false. Okay? All right, now they get bigger, not harder. They get more fun, actually. One day I'm going to make one that fills up a whole room, 12-point font. Suppose A is true, B is false, and C is false. Now, I might start finding some shortcuts here in a minute. And the shortcuts I might find would be things like this. If you have a true that hits an or, it's true. If you have a false that hits an and, it's false. So stuff like that. But in the meantime, I'm just going to trace it down. So here goes. My false hits the not and becomes true. My and statement is built of two truths. Therefore, it is true. My true hits a not and it becomes false. Okay, let's just kind of stare at what we have. I haven't done anything over here, and it would be easy if I did. I could just be like, oh, that's true, and I might write that in a second. But my and statement is composed of a false. Therefore, it will be false. I don't care what happens here. I mean, you can go ahead and put that if you want to, but it doesn't matter. And then the whole thing becomes true. Final answer is true. All right, let's keep going. Suppose A is false. Stop right there. Let's just stop right there. You know, I don't care what B is. You know when you hit an and statement with a false, it's false. And then you say not that, so true. And then true goes into an and statement. I can't go any further. I do need to figure out some stuff over here. I haven't even dealt with B. I don't care about B. I can put this if I want to, but it doesn't change the answer. Okay? All right, here goes. C is true. It hits this not and becomes false. So true and false. Well, if I have a false that hits an and statement, it's false. So my false hits this not and it becomes true. Okay, so again, I might find shortcuts sometimes where I was able to go all the way down to here, going and never even touched that. It's totally okay. A is true, B is true, C is false. All right, I'm looking for shortcuts now at this point. My or statement needs to have at least one truth. I'm not going to find it here. So maybe this is true. We'll see. All right, so my and statement needs two truths. I have one. Let's get the other. Oh, false. Oh, no. All right, so false and a true hits an and statement. Therefore, it is not true. It must be false. My false is not, so it's a true. True or false. I have a truth. Therefore, it's true. But not really. There we go. All right, the rest of these notes are going to be ones that are this big, but they're going to be questions like this, like how does it affect the graph? Or how does it affect the truth value graph? I said that out of habit. So here we go. Given the logic gate below, answer each of these questions, and we are going to use a pencil because I'm using the same one for all three of these problems. Let's start with that one. A is true, B is true. What happens if you have some random value of, like how will C affect the output? So A is true, B is true. Let's do it. So we have a true and a true, and we'll erase that in a minute, so I'm not using ink. True hits a not, becomes false. False and true is false. My false hits this not and becomes true. Okay, here we go. My true hits an or statement. I don't care what this is. All I need to have an or statement that's true is one truth, and I have it, so my final answer is false. I never needed this. No one cares what C is. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to write that. Given that A is true and B is true, how the value of C affect the output? The output will always be false. I don't know why I felt the need to abbreviate, to capitalize that. Regardless, or some people say irregardless. That's not technically a word. Regardless of C. C could be anything. It doesn't matter. If C was false, we'd still have a true coming out of here. If C was true, we'd still have a true coming out of here. All right, we're going to erase what we have and start all over. So let's erase with a little dump truck eraser. Erase, 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 erased. Okay, given that A is false and C is true, well, let's do it. A is false, C is true. How will the value of B affect the output? Check it out. True comes down, hits an or statement. Sounds like the beginning of a joke. A true walks into an or statement. The or statement looks at him and says, well, I'm definitely true now. Ha, boom, thanks, I'm here all week. Final answer is false. You didn't even deal with this. I don't need to. Who cares? Who cares? Doesn't matter. So, yeah, final answer, false. The output will always be false. I won't capitalize it this time. Irregardless, regardless of B. Okay, one more. All right, let's erase what we have using our little dump truck eraser that I bought at the dollar store. And a pack of like 12 for $1, because that's how much things cost at the dollar store. Okay. There it goes. B is false, C is false. Let's do it. B is false. C is false. I know nothing about A. So here goes. When I have a false that hits this or statement, I need a truth over here to keep going. So I can't say anything about this until I know this. And so I would love to experiment with what A could be, but let's just go ahead and keep going. When a false hits an and statement, it's false. Well, now we've changed it to true. Oh, here we go. My true hit an or statement, so it's true, and then false. There it is. So, final answer on that one. When B is false and C is false, doesn't matter what A is, output is false. So the output is false. Always be false. Apparently the output almost always on here is false. Irregardless. No, regardless of A. There you go.